You wake up, your eyes are open, but your body will not move. Something is sitting on your chest. You can feel its weight, you can hear it breathing, and you cannot scream. For thousands of years, humans across every culture on Earth have described this exact same experience. Same posture, same shadow, same crushing weight on the chest. They didn't share a language, they didn't share a continent, but they shared this. The real answer is far stranger than a nightmare. Your brain has a switch, it flips every single night, and sometimes, for a few terrifying seconds, that switch gets stuck halfway. Here is what's actually happening inside your skull when you can't move. Every night, your body cycles through several stages of sleep. The deepest, strangest stage is called REM sleep. REM stands for rapid eye movement. It's the stage where your eyes dart back and forth beneath closed lids, and where your most vivid dreams unfold. But dreaming is dangerous. If your brain is generating dream content as detailed as real life, and your body is still connected to your muscles, you'd act it out. You'd run, you'd fight, you'd fall out of bed. So evolution built a safety switch. Neuroscientists call it atonia. During REM sleep, your brainstem floods your motor neurons with inhibitory signals. Your muscles go completely limp. You are, for all functional purposes, paralyzed. This isn't a malfunction. This is the system working exactly as designed. The problem starts when you wake up too early. Sleep researcher J. Allen Chaney, who spent years studying thousands of first-hand accounts of this phenomenon, found something remarkable. In a small percentage of people, consciousness returns before the paralysis switch flips back off. Your mind wakes up, your body doesn't get the memo. You are lying there, fully aware, in a room you recognize, unable to lift a finger, and your brain, still partly locked in REM mode, keeps generating dream content. Except now, that content isn't happening behind closed eyes in some abstract dreamscape. It's happening layered directly on top of your real bedroom. This is called a hypnagogic hallucination, and it is not subtle. Chaney's research identified a pattern so consistent across cultures that it has a name: the intruder, a sensed presence in the room, often standing in a doorway, often approaching the bed. The feeling isn't vague unease, it is the specific, bone-deep certainty that something hostile is there with you. Why a presence? Why not, say, a floating light or a sound? Your brain during this state is running an ancient threat detection system with almost no real sensory input to check itself against. Neuroscientists believe the amygdala, the brain's alarm center, stays highly active into this transitional state, generating a powerful sense of danger before your visual cortex has anything real to show it. So your mind fills the gap, and it fills it with the single, most evolutionarily urgent thing it can imagine: another agent watching you, deciding whether to attack. That's the visitor. Now here's the wait. Because your diaphragm and chest muscles are also affected by REM atonia, your breathing during this state becomes shallow and irregular. Your brain interprets that irregular breathing the only way it knows how. Something is pressing down on you, something heavy, something sitting directly on your chest. Folklorist David Hufford spent decades collecting these accounts, starting in Newfoundland, where locals called the experience the Old Hag. He found the same three-part structure everywhere he looked: waking paralysis, a sensed evil presence, crushing chest pressure. He documented it in cultures with zero contact with each other across centuries. In West Africa, it's a spirit sitting on the sleeper. In Japan, it's called kanashibari, bound in metal. In parts of the Caribbean, it's a hag who rides your back through the night. In medieval Europe, it was a demon called an incubus or succubus, pressing its weight down while you lay helpless. Different names, different demons, identical biology. This is what happens when a universal neurological event meets 1,000 different storytelling traditions. The brainstem doesn't know about folklore, it just sends the same signal: paralysis, threat, weight, and every culture that received that signal built its own mythology to explain what it felt. Here's the part that should unsettle you more than the demon does. You are not remembering a dream, later, softened by time. You are experiencing this in real time, with your rational, waking mind fully online, looking at your actual room, convinced with total certainty that something is there. There is no fog of sleep to blame it on. It feels exactly as real as this sentence does right now, which is why, for most of human history, nobody assumed it was a misfire in the nervous system. Why would they? It felt like an attack. So they built defenses, prayers, amulets, sleeping positions believed to ward off the visitor, an entire architecture of ritual built around a stuck switch in the brainstem. Modern researchers have narrowed down who experiences this most. Sleep paralysis is more common in people with irregular sleep schedules, high stress, and sleep deprivation. It spikes in college students during exam periods. It spikes in shift workers. It spikes in anyone whose sleep-wake cycle gets forced out of its normal rhythm. In other words, the demon shows up exactly when your body's internal clock gets disrupted. It is, in the most literal sense, a symptom of a system pushed past its limits. Knowing this doesn't always make the experience less frightening in the moment. Even researchers who study sleep paralysis for a living report that understanding the mechanism doesn't fully dissolve the fear while it's happening. The amygdala doesn't read scientific papers, it just fires. But there's something almost comforting underneath the horror of it. Every civilization that has ever existed has had its version of the thing that sits on your chest in the dark. Not because evil is universal, because your nervous system is. The visitor at the foot of your bed isn't a demon, it's a signal, misfiring in the gap between two states of consciousness, dressed up by your mind in whatever costume your culture handed it. A hag, an incubus, a shadow figure, a weight with no name. Tonight, if your body ever refuses to move and something feels like it's standing in the doorway, remember this. It isn't there because you were chosen. It's there because your brain switched off your muscles to keep you safe and woke up a few seconds too early to notice. The demon isn't in your room. It's in the half-second gap between asleep and awake, and it always has been.